welcome to Paradise in the Pines, a podcast about the people, places, and stories that make this the home of American golf. Brought to you by the Pinehurst Southern Pines Aberdeen Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Paradise in the Pines. I'm Phil Wars, President and CEO of the Pinehurst Southern Pines Aberdeen Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Joining us today, Eric Kuester, Sales and Marketing Vice President and also Business Development over at Pinehurst Resort. You guys are so busy all the time. I'm shocked you can even come over here and do this podcast. How busy are you guys? I mean, 10, US Open, USGA, go on and on and on.
Well, thank you for having me, Phil. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. And I was so busy, I actually almost canceled on you today twice.
Right.
But I'm glad to be here and to talk to you today. But it's wide open right now at the resort. You cover us well, and you're close to the action. It's fun because every day we're planning, we're talking, we're envisioning, and integrating so many exciting things. But it's also peak season, so not only do we have a lot going on in the future and planning and what's next with U.S. Open and number 10, we also have got hundreds of guests that are activating around the property and enjoying.
And you're renovating 60 rooms that are still.
The Carolina Hotel project is in phase 3, and we've got 60 rooms that are out of order. Excited to see that project finish because that's been pretty disruptive. Yeah. But the end game there is going to be amazing. You've been to the Carolina Hotel. You've seen what we've done there. Polishing the crown jewel has been a pretty long process, but one that's going to, I think, pay dividends for us in the future.
What is it like, having worked on the resort side? I've worked for Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, Lansdowne Resort, Grove Park Inn. I know all about having owners that like to spend money and owners that do not like to spend money. What is it like having Mr. Dedman, who is, he is actively involved, spends the money, invests in that property, invests in the future of, what is it like to have an owner like that, having the appreciation of having worked for a major resort like yours?
Yeah, I love that question. Dedman is kind of like our secret sauce. I mean, he's, when he's here, because he has this, deft touch when, it's almost Ron Green Jr., who we both know, a good friend of ours, writes for Global Golf Post. And he said something that stood out to me about Dedman. He said he's like a cashmere sweater. He's got this soft touch, but he has this undeniable depth of quality about him. And so to have him stewarding the brand and to be out in front and captaining the ship and doing it with a real passion and authenticity, sure, it helps that he has the financial wherewithal, and but we've made wise investments over the years, and I think he sees the fruits of that, and it's his pride and joy, Phil. I mean, he loves doing this. Yeah. I've talked to a couple of friends of his in Dallas, and they say, Eric, when he's in Pinehurst, he's as happy as he can be. He sees what's manifested over the years since they bought it back in '84, and gosh, the property's changed so much since then for the better. Yeah, because of his leadership.
Sure. You talked about the rooms a little bit. I guess the biggest news right now coming out of Pinehurst is the creation of Pinehurst number 10, the first new course at the resort in a number of years. Talk about that development. I haven't been out there in a couple of months. You're out there on the regular, so it is a big property. It is amazing, and a lot of people, they're going to see it's unlike any other golf course you have here at the resort.
It is. We're incredibly excited about it, and so much so that I'm when people approach me about it, my reaction is, you want to go play it?
I was going to say, can you get me a tee time?
So, which, by the way, we got to get you out there soon. But it is the field of dreams. It's finally coming to reality, and we talked about it for years and years. You remember when Don Pageant was the president of Pinehurst, and there was this kind of, in certain circles, Pinehurst is going to do number 10, and now it's here. And now we have this product that you can see, feel, and touch. And what Doak has done, what he's created, is truly amazing. It's a big, bold golf course. It's lively. It's got some big corridors. It's got some shot shaping. It's going to be a good test of golf, and we're just excited because it gives us, we like to edit lots of things. Yeah, we're creating this. And it's hard to create, as we're finding out, all the finite details, the intricacies, and where buildings are going to go, and how's the experience going to play out. But we feel like we're starting with ground zero, and that's a dynamite golf course that's going to delight people that come and play it.
While Tom Doak gets the notoriety as the designer, Angela Moser, I remember even one day Dan and I, behind the camera here, we were out shooting some aerials out there, and Angela's on the bulldozer, moving earth I mean, every day. We tried to get her on the podcast, and Alex, your PR guy, said, no, she's busy. Like every day she's on that tractor. It's amazing and a testament to her work ethic.
100%. She's been the unsung hero. I mean, Doak comes in. He's he's masterful at green complexes. He likes to kind of be feet on the grass and really shape those contours. But she was every day, all day out there doing a lot of the shaping. And that's, it's a great testament to her work ethic, because she was, whether it was 40 degrees or 100 degrees, there was times when I went out there in the summer and it was, she's on a bulldozer and she's wearing jeans and flannel shirts, and you're thinking, my gosh, this can't be comfortable. But she did it with a smile on her face, and she had so much, passion for doing it. And it was a pleasure to work with her and the whole team. I mean, Bob Farron, Kevin Robinson, LeBar, golf course construction. We moved at such a quick pace, and people kept saying, "Did y'all start this before you announced it?" I mean, we did quietly start kind of taking some trees out and prepping the site, but we had resources at our disposal, and Doak had an opening on his calendar, and we seized it.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Opens officially April 3rd of 2024. You're already taking reservations. Go to Pinehurst.com. You can book the package and play 2 and 10. Say, marketing guy, right on it.
Well done.
What do you want people that go there and play the first time next spring? What do you want them to come away with when they finish number 10?
That's a great question. Hopefully, it's obviously going to elevate the entire Pinehurst experience. I think what we want is to offer something where the guest goes out there and it's just an immersive golf experience. And the main club is as proud of that that we are. The body heat sometimes can be, let's just say, animated. Yeah. And so the Cradle, number 2, the Country Club, the Deuce, the parking, that's not gonna exist out there. It's just you and the golf course. And we've got intentional 12-minute tee time intervals. We want to space this thing out a little bit, and we're going to really emphasize the walking experience. And so I think when you turn off of Highway 5 into, I almost inadvertently told you the potential name of the whole destination. Stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, right.
But I think we want people to be, obviously, we want to exceed expectations from the minute they turn off of Highway 5 to know there's somewhere special, and that hopefully it's going to entice them to come back again and again. But ultimately, a golf course is going to complement 2, 4, and 8. And you want to build that depth of the experience. We've got so much demand right now, as you know, Phil, with members and resort guests. Yeah. That's why we did the golf course, is to relieve some of that compaction for a better playing experience. And so I think that's what we're most excited about, is just to have something that sort of differentiates us a little bit, while also keeps us. I mean, look, we got competitors. We've got a lot of competitors out there that are doing some great stuff, and so we got to keep up. And I think we're going to do that.
There's 1,000 acres out there. So this golf course, I believe, is around 230, 250. Yeah. I remember talking to Tom Pashley, resort president, your boss, I guess.
Yes, I'm the boss.
He said, just have an imagination. I mean, there's obviously more to the canvas as you guys create more out there. So not asking you to reveal certain things, but there's going to be, as you alluded to, it's going to be a different vibe. I mean, out there. It's maybe more subdued, but I don't know where the words that you would find, but it's going to be, like you said, it's not going to be the crazy wild cradle fun, seeing a lot of people. It's going to be, just kind of describe the vibe, what you're expecting out there.
Well, I think you alluded to it, and I don't think we're going to build one golf course and say, okay, that's it. I mean, so you can make your assumptions pretty accurately on that front, that we will do more out there. We see a day in the future where you and your golf buddies might check in at number 10, and if there's another golf course, play number 11, multiple short courses, stay there, perhaps go back into main property, experience the Cradle, play number 2, but say, hey, I miss where we were. I'm going back out there to have that kind of immersive golf experience where it's quieter. We always, when we were sort of whiteboarding this, Phil, and we were sitting through some kind of brainstorm sessions, I remember we brought in an influencer in the golf space, and he said, build everything that you're not out there. And we're like, interesting. What is that? Yeah. And of course, and we went through the selection process of hiring Doak, because we didn't have a Doak golf course. There's not a Doak golf course in the state of North Carolina. But he said, there's golf resort destinations that do a lot of things very, very well. You don't have to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
Take the blueprint that's already been created and do it at Pinehurst. And so while you have this great, unique village and all the hustle and bustle around the main clubhouse, this is going to be a departure from that. But I think it's going to work in tandem nicely.
You alluded to it a little bit earlier, talking about, ever evolving, but your competition, you've got Streamsong building another golf course, Bandon Dunes, what they're going to do on their current site and later in Colorado. I mean, the competition nationwide and globally is you've got to keep up, but it's seemingly you maintain the standard as you keep developing and doing things to kind of, I don't know, you're saying that it's almost like you guys do it because we don't need to top anybody.
Yeah.
We're just doing it. And then other people they're chasing us, basically. That's how I see it.
Well, we are competitive, and we do keep a watchful eye on what people are doing. Destination golf, as you know, I mean, you're an avid golfer and a traveler yourself. I mean, destination golf is kind of cool right now. It's like hard to get to places. It's like you fly in and you drive 2-3 hours, and that's we've always been that way. We were the OG in destination golf, and so we feel like we don't want to rest on our laurels, and we always had this field of dreams that we knew we were going to lean into at some point. But Phil, we had to edit a lot. We had to, going back to the number 2 restoration, number 4, the brewery, the manor, the cradle, and so we have that foundation, and now we just want to layer on top of that. But the competition is pretty wide and deep, and so we want to make sure what we don't want to do, Phil, is lose our mission and our North Star. What you said earlier, it's you want to have this authentic destination experience, and you want to push the envelope and be progressive and evolve, but you also want to make sure you recognize where you came from, and that's the tradition of the game. Walking down the hallways, seeing all the champions that have played at Pinehurst, but then going out to the cradle and listening to AC/DC and taking your shoes off and having a big time.
It's funny you mentioned taking your shoes off at the cradle. I'm on the state golf panel, and Bill Mangum, who I'm sure you know, is also on the panel. We were playing at our summer retreat up at Grandover this summer, and he saw the picture. I think you used a picture in your marketing from something foul photography.
Chasing foul
photography. And it was a picture of these guys on the cradle, a couple of them holding drinks, golf clubs, barefoot, like 6-7 guys. Yeah. You could see the clubhouse in the background. And Bill's like, I saw this advertisement from Pinehurst. I saw these guys barefoot on the cradle. Is this who they're marketing to now? And we're marketing guys. So it's like, the demographics have changed. And when you see folks like Riggs and Barstool Sports and the social media influencers, No Laying Up and Golf in Your State, all those, I mean, it's kind of changed the landscape a little bit because of that platform.
No doubt. Well, we want to stay relevant to each generation. Yeah. And sometimes to bridge that gap, our experience, I think, changed quicker than our creative did. So what I mean by saying that is our creative had to kind of catch up with our experience. And so with all due respect to Mr. Mangum, that's the artist, right?
Yeah.
He's a very talented guy. And that creative that he saw was indicative of what's happening at Pinehurst. And that is, there's a quote that Tom will say often. It comes from a bellman, and he was talking to a guest, and he said, we take our golf seriously, but not ourselves. And what he meant by that is golf is always going to be what makes Pinehurst, it's our DNA. Yeah. Golf has evolved, and so has Pinehurst. And so we're just sort of, going along with this journey with golf, and the cradle has certainly ushered in a new audience. Thistledew has, but golf, as you know, Top Golf and everything that's happening around the entertainment venues, I mean, it's growing. It's getting more diverse. It's getting more accessible. It's getting more fun. Yeah. Fun's the key word here. It's being traditional and being fun. Can you do both? You can. They can coexist. We're doing a pretty good job of it, but we also have the traditionalists that come in all the time. It's funny, Phil, we can dork out on marketing stuff, but customer personas. Okay, so we have the knowledgeable traditionalist, and we can tell you what he or she, what kind of clothes they wear and what they read and how many trips a year they take and what kind of car they drive. Right. And then we have the avid the avid traveler who's maybe not taking as many trips, maybe playing 20, 30 rounds a year. Then we have kind of like the new era of golfers, and they're kind of coming to Pinehurst to maybe play golf, and they may play the cradle, and then they might go play the top golf, and then they're turned on to the game. And then we have to continue to target market them so that maybe they'll come back and be a leisure guest in the hotel and stay for multiple nights, not just on a social package, but on a golf package. So we're always trying to get, obviously grow our audience.
Right.
And so you have to evolve and be relevant.
And the 3 sectors that are growing the most are women, minorities, and kids. So it's just another, they got the traditionalists, but then you've got these 3 other sectors that are coming along, and over 3 million new people tried the game last year.
Awesome stat. And to add to that, I know that the NGF, which you and I both follow closely, they prescribe that there's more golf off course than there is on course.
Right.
And so,
which leads to them playing on the course. Yeah.
Correct. So there's, we know how our bread is buttered, and we know that we've got to continue to market to that 45 to 60-year-old demographic.
Right.
But as you said earlier, the influencer effect, the social media effect, people get influenced by what they see on their phones, and if Riggs is playing golf at Pinehurst and having a great time doing it, well, that has an influencing effect on behavior of other consumers, and so it's kind of the follow the herd mentality with this younger generation. And so I think we've done that nicely. And there's a balance to it all. I mean, we know there's playing golf with your shoes, without your shoes, with loud music, and we celebrate that because Pinehurst is a celebration of all things in golf. But don't get it twisted. There's certainly limits where we don't want to cross too far. Because we know who we are, and we have brand values that we don't want to compromise. We
keep riding this wave of the golf resurgence, and I get asked, I'm sure you do too, is like, hey, things ebb and flow, things come and go. At what point does golf wane? I don't see it personally. I mean, when COVID hit, we all thought it was the end of the world, and then it was the greatest thing that ever happened to the game of golf globally. And so, I don't see the end of the resurgence. Tiger effect is one thing, but now that he's basically retired, hopefully going to be the new Ryder Cup captain, he's still very much prominent in the game. He's just starting a bar, I think, in New York with Justin Timberlake. So, I mean, he's got his golf product out there as well. So, I don't see the end of this surge. And with the U.S. Opens here, specific to this market?
Well, this is such a red-hot market. So you and I are probably seeing an unfair market share, reality. But I think because of the USGA, because of what this destination has become, the mousetrap is bigger, and I think it's more enticing now for people to come here and stay longer, and there's more to do, there's more to see. But to your point, the entertainment value around golf is so much better. I mean, you look at the lines at Topgolf. You and I have been to Topgolf.
Yeah.
It's not inexpensive to do that.
It's not.
And there's people there all hours of the day. Yeah. Short courses are popping up all over the country. Topgolf is growing into Europe. There's celebrities that are investing in golf. There's TGL, which is going to be kind of screen golf, but with some mega personalities, Rory and Tiger. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. I think golf. We're obviously playing the long game with golf. Yeah. I don't see it waning, and we hope that it won't wane because we're expecting another wave of golfers to arrive next year as we debut more products.
As we record this, we're 241 days away from the 2024 U.S. Open. I get asked as well, when are you going to start seeing the impacts of grandstands? When is that going to start? When are you going to start seeing the impact of that Open? We know that it's here and it's coming.
When the net goes up on Maniac Hill, I feel like that's like, okay, this is real. This is happening. That's going to be, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be sometime in late January, early February. Then it's off to the races. Yeah. Then you're going to have grandstands that are going to be constructed. And the unique thing that's in 24 versus 14, Phil, is all those hospitality structures that had previously been set up in the bowl of Maniac Hill in the driving range. Yeah. That's going to be on the golf course. So you're going to see hospitality on the 10th hole, specifically behind the 10th green on number 2, and then on the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th holes, you're going to have hospitality, that's going to feed into I think, a more animated experience. I think it's going to be elevated and more enhanced. So I think the corporate audience and hopefully the general admission attendees will feel there'll be a little bit more vibrancy to the U.S. Open versus separating the corporate hospitality away from the golf course.
Yeah.
It's coming to the golf course.
Sure. And in the closing holes too, where you've
Exactly.
got the attendance, everybody's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and
there's just one thing.
A lot of people drinking transfusions. it's going to be.
There's just one thing I want, Phil.
Yeah.
I want a really good winner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with all due respect to previous winners, champions at Pinehurst, we need to have someone who we can market. As I'm looking at the young kid in the orange +4s, reminiscent of Ricky Fowler, but
he played well in 14.
Yeah, we need to find someone who's dynamic and got a good personality and maybe American, maybe.
Yeah, I would concur with you there. If you look at the grandstand from 2014 over the 18th hole, kind of modest, I would say, compared to the artist rendering of what I see it's going to be for the 2024 U.S. Open. Plus, for the first time ever, it's going to have a suite built in the 1895 Club. Talk about that.
Yeah, thank you for plugging that. The 1895 Club will be the highest end premium product for hospitality that the USGA will offer and has ever offered at a U.S. Open. And that will be programmed and built into that 18th grandstand. The 18th grandstand is going to be significantly bigger than it was in 14. So that's it. That's another element of excitement for hospitality in 2024. It has been well received by the market. It's kind of that if there was something that would compare to the Green Mile over in Quail Hollow, that high-end hospitality, premium price, that's really where they're going with this particular product. So we've enjoyed helping the USGA promote that and sell it, and it's been very well received by the corporate market.
You recently got back from the Ryder Cup, went over to Italy and checked that out. Regardless of the play of the United States team, it's interesting because the Europeans, even the hype reel they did, it was all about nationalism, their country, the pride that they have. We had some lunch recently, and we talked about the American team that probably needs to maybe take a little bit of a recipe of that versus worrying about a hat size or something like that. So, or whether they're getting paid to wear one. So, I'm not going to ask you to rip on the United States team, but what did you experience over there in Italy going to the Ryder Cup? Was that your first Ryder Cup experience?
First one on foreign soil. Might be my last one, considering we've got
Italy's not a bad place to go.
Boat raced. The Europeans do the Ryder Cup better than we do. Certainly on course play, I think is you can't argue that the last 30 years we've never beaten them over there. But even outside the ropes, Phil, I mean the fervor that they put into these matches and just the outright level of enthusiasm and as you said, nationality and the pride they have, it's unequaled. I mean, it's really cool. They really just they game up and they want it. Maybe just I hate to say they want it more than us because that's such a presumptuous statement, but you do sort of feel that like, hey, they're a team of one. Yeah. They're not a team of 12. They're a team of one, and they show up and they play well, and they're having more fun doing it. And so it's
fun when you're boat racing somebody.
I know it's. I felt like, and I think I heard the whispers of when all the Americans were kind of licking their wounds and saying, "Where's Tiger?" Yeah. So where's Tiger? 2025, Tiger, we need you.
Sure.
Come back for Bethpage Black and let's go out for blood.
Rory might have been a little bit aggressive in saying we're going to do it again at Bethpage with that New York City crowd that's going to be on that course, given this on him all day.
No chance. I'm taking the Americans right now. I take the Americans by a mile at Bethpage because the rowdy crowd and hopefully we will have a Captain Woods. Can you imagine being in the locker room with him?
Oh, yeah.
I was joking with some friends of mine that took me to the Ryder Cup, and I said, if I were a captain of the Ryder Cup, I would find the most upbeat, excitable, inspirational speaker in the world of sports. Maybe it's Deion Sanders. Maybe it's
exactly read my mind.
Maybe it's Nick Saban. I don't know. Find one of these guys. And just cut them loose in the locker room. I mean, like it's the if you can't get excited to play for your country, then I don't know what else would get you excited to play. So it was a great display of golf by the Europeans, and we, on Sunday there was a little bit of hope, but the Europeans, at least the Europeans we were with, they never showed any sign of optimism for us. They're like, yeah, you guys are done.
Jump back to the resort real quick. USGA, they're going to open Golf House Pinehurst. I think Janine Driscoll said they'll be in their offices December 4th. I think I remember her telling me. World Golf Hall of Fame is going to open April, May.
It's going to be a race to the finish to get that one done.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah. It's come together nicely.
Really cool.
They've done a really great job. We can't wait. We're so glad that World Golf Hall of Fame is coming back. It's how much of an impact do you think bringing that back to this destination is going to have?
Well, it certainly has. I hope it has a huge impact. I think people will appreciate it more. I think, with all due respect to where it was in Florida, it was just an exit off of I-95, right? I mean, this is the home of American golf, and you talk to a lot of different people, and they tell you you might get different answers for everyone you ask about how many people actually visit Pinehurst. I can tell how many unique visitors we have at Pinehurst Resort, but as you know, Phil, this area, people drive through this area all the time. Yeah. And the USGA wants to capture that. They want to capture mind share, and they want people to come in and experience, to tell the story of World Golf Hall of Fame, tell the story of the USGA through the USGA experience, which they're going to do in a very unique and kind of digital experiential way. So yeah, I think it's super cool. And it was kind of bonus that when the USGA told us that, oh yeah, by the way, the World Golf Hall of Fame is returning to Pinehurst, we were like, oh my gosh,
the hits just keep coming.
We just won again. But that now that we have the USGA here, the World Golf Hall of Fame, Pinehurst #2, the U.S. Open, Donald Ross's history and legacy, it really does put us on the same playing field as the R&A and St. Andrews Links Trust, because they had Old Time Morris, they got the R&A, they've got the Open Championship, and so that feels right, doesn't it? I mean, it feels like, okay, now we have a destination that we can put a flag in the ground and say we truly are the home of American golf, and we can prove it to you.
Been 25 years since the first U.S. Open in Pinehurst in 1999. 25 years since Payne Stewart, his historic win. I'm not going to ask you to spill the beans. I can imagine you guys are cooking up something to remember Payne's victory 25 years ago.
I just got chills when you said that. We do have some interesting things that we're working on to honor Payne's incredible victory that just continues to be celebrated every day at Pinehurst. I just saw Peter Jacobson was in town.
I saw his picture.
Did you see that?
I saw it on Instagram.
How cool was that?
Yeah,
he did a selfie with Payne Stewart. He was in town for a Toyota
That's
event.
awesome.
But yes, I think that will be obviously entirely appropriate for us to honor and celebrate 25 years, that anniversary of that incredible victory. And I think the USGA has got some things planned, and so we'll leave it at that.
We haven't even dived into your background. It's funny because I've probably worked in 15 different places in the time that you've spent just at Pinehurst Resort, because I kind of like Rolling Stone gathers no moss. I'm constantly moving, but I'm here forever.
Right.
But you've been at the resort for a while. You were born and raised in Charlotte.
That's right.
Talk about how you found Pinehurst and how lucky, blessed you feel to have spent a career to a point where you've seen so much change and grow and make such an influence in the world of golf and in the state and in the country.
I love that question. Thank you for asking it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was getting out of school, and so I came down here one summer, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna live in Pinehurst. And so I came down here for like 30 days, and I rented a condo and had a couple odd jobs, washing carts and bussing tables. And I just kind of wanted to feel what it was like to live here. Because I grew up in Charlotte, and I was going to school at North Carolina State in Raleigh, so I was this big city guy, and I was thinking, could I do this? Yeah. And I left that experience thinking that I could. And so fast forward a year, and my dad's a real estate developer in Charlotte, and I had an opportunity to go back there and work for him, work in the family business, which is today a great small business, still thriving. And he said, pursue your passion. He's like, if you want to be in hospitality and work in golf, I always loved golf, always played a lot of golf, and knew that I wanted to be in marketing, and I wanted to be around people. And so I called HR. And Phil, this is so funny. They were like, you're like you're a business major, but you don't have any hospitality experience. What do you want to do? I go, anything. And they're like, okay. So I called them back 30 days later, and they're like, well, we have a job at the front desk. Are you interested? And I was like, if that's all you got, I'm in.
Yeah,
and
get your foot in the door.
So that was I've been in Pinehurst for 20 years, and Chip Ashman, he's retired now, but if he's watching this, he took a bet on me because I had, in fact, he actually said no twice. I was pretty stubborn. I was like, no, I'm going to find a job at Pinehurst. So I had this kind of unapologetic kind of stubbornness and confidence, perhaps, that I knew I wanted to be in Pinehurst. And it has been such a blessing to be here, Phil. I mean, it's, now that I have a wife and 3 kids, the quality of life here, as you can attest to, it's amazing, and it keeps getting better. It just gets better with time. I've had great growth with the company, and Tom has taken me under his wing, and Mr. Dedman and I have a good working relationship. So there's challenge in my job. There's fun in my job. I mean, I get to come to work as the head of sales and marketing at Pinehurst. It's like I pinch myself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we certainly wish the best of luck. I mean, not that you need it. I mean, you guys just keep cranking out the hits one after the other. You got a great team with Tom, yourself, Alex, Lindsay, Matt. I can go down the whole line of people. Yeah. We appreciate everything you do for the destination, the synergy our organizations have together to promote tourism. Wait, let me ask one more question before we go. Your 3 favorite restaurants in town. You got to go off campus here. We know Pinehurst Brewery. We know the Ryder Cup Lounge, and they're redesigning that. And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great. With a new name,
the Deuce and everything else. So name 3 of your favorite restaurants in town.
195.
Okay.
Elliott's. Can I say Char Bar?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Just because they get like 1 out of 7 dinners at my house.
Oh, there you go.
So 195 by a mile. Big fan of that place.
Yeah.
How about you?
For me, I'd say Ironwood. They got a new veranda that's going to be opening up. The new Mexican restaurant right by Char Bar is excellent. It's a great place. And, if you like something that's kind of quirky, different, Red's Corner, you got a variety of food trucks, things like that. It's the only type of facility like it in the state of North Carolina. But, I would agree, Elliott's is great. Chapman's is great. Ashton's. Yeah. There's so much variety here. There's so much for people to do. What's great is, like, when you go to Bandon, it's just Bandon. You go to Streamsong, it's just Streamsong. You come here, you've got great shopping in the village of Pinehurst, downtown Southern Pines, great restaurants, outdoor recreation. You can go paddleboarding on Reservoir Park. And so, it goes on and on. There's so much more to do.
The area's gotten a lot more diverse in that regard. And I'll close by saying this, Phil. This has been great, by the way. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure, absolutely.
People always say, Pinehurst is so cool. It's fun now, and you guys have really changed the experience and by bringing all these products online. But we have so many great quotes that people provide to us, and one was, while so much has changed, nothing has been lost. Now, I think that is so emblematic of what Pinehurst is today. There's still, as you know, as you just described, the village, the church bells, the pine canopies, Pinehurst number 2, caddies. I mean, there's still a traditional vibe here that will never change, but you're able to sort of add to that and enhance off of that.
And hopefully we can maintain that charm as we grow, because we will, because when that 2029 U.S. Open comes along, it's going to be a completely different destination, as you know.
It is indeed.
Even the Circle, who knows what's going to happen to that? But it's always fun. It's always great seeing you.
Likewise.
Appreciate your time. Eric Kuester, Vice President of Sales and Marketing and Business Development for the Pinehurst Resort. If you want to learn more about our destination, it's fabulous. Go to homeofgolf.com. You want to watch this podcast. This is episode number 41. Go to our YouTube channel, Home of American Golf. And to download this podcast, just go to your favorite podcatcher and look for Paradise in the Pines. For Eric Kuester, I'm Phil Wers. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. Fun. What about fast?
That was awesome. We could have talked about a lot more.